In the UK, when a driver commits a serious motoring offence and is banned from driving, the court has the option to impose an extended driving test on the driver before they get their licence back. The extended driving test lasts almost twice as long as the standard learner's test, and as a result, the test routes are considerably more challenging. It will include all the elements of a normal learner test, such as an eye test, one manoeuvre, and 20 minutes of independent driving, but will always include the emergency stop routine. Ben has been driving for 2 years and has kindly agreed to play the part of the banned driver for our video today. He has not been banned, but it would not be difficult for him to find himself in this position with a real examiner one day. He has not had any extra training to help him get ready for our test route, but has test driven our car to get used to its controls. We will identify any faults we see and also monitor the total number of faults so you can see how Ben is doing. This is a very long video, so if you would like to skip to other parts of the video, please click the links in the description below. Let's get started.
So on today's route, we're going to be driving for approximately an hour. We'll be doing an emergency stop, some independent driving with the sat-nav today, and a manoeuvre somewhere. Throughout the drive, always follow the road ahead, unless traffic signs or road markings say otherwise. And if I need you to turn left or right, I'll tell you in plenty of time.
Yep.
Any questions?
No.
Cool. Okay. So we're going to start with independent driving straight away with the sat-nav. So I'll guide you out the car park, and then I'll hand you over to the sat-nav. So if you're ready, start your engine. Okay, so if you're ready, drive on please, that way. At the giveaway line here,
at the end of the road, turn right, then
we're actually going straight ahead
on
towards the new houses.
Turn right, then go straight on.
Yes, I think the sat-nav's got us, but we'll be going through the gap and
Go
left
straight
again.
on, then at the end of the road, turn left. Turn left, then cross the roundabout and take the second exit. After 100 yards, cross the roundabout and take the second exit. Cross the roundabout and take the second exit.
Now the sat-nav's going to get this wrong. It's actually the straight ahead second exit what you need.
Cross the roundabout and take the third exit.
Ben did well to spot that he needed to use the right lane to go ahead at this roundabout.
After 100 yards, go left on the roundabout and take the first exit. Go left on the roundabout and take the first exit.
During an extended test route, the examiner would be looking to ensure that the driving is safe. As the driver has previously been disqualified, the examiner will focus especially on observation skills, appropriate signalling, adhering to speed limits, and that they remain courteous to other road users. The normal methods of assessment will be applied, but examiners will take into consideration that candidates are likely to have considerable driving experience, and their level of confidence will probably be quite different to the majority of learner drivers.
After 300 yards, cross the roundabout and take the third exit.
So just to be clear, that's right at the traffic lights and then keep left.
Cross the roundabout and take the third exit. Take the exit. After 300 yards, turn right. Turn right.
This is the third time that Ben has indicated before checking his side mirrors, so now has 3 driver faults for mirrors signalling. Even though we are allowed up to 15 driving or minor faults before failing the test, if we are given 3 or more in the same category, the examiner may convert them into a serious fault, which will result in a test failure. From now on, we will stop counting faults in this category.
After 300 yards, go right on the roundabout and take the third exit. Go right on the roundabout and take the third exit. After 100 yards, cross the roundabout and take the second exit. Cross the roundabout and take the second exit.
Ben shows his confidence here by increasing his speed on this national speed limit road. Driving too slowly here could frustrate other drivers and lead to danger.
After 400 yards, go right on the roundabout and take the third exit. Go right on the roundabout and take the third exit. yards, turn left.
Thanks so much. And when you're ready, drive on.
Turn left.
If you could pull up on the left just here, please. Thanks a lot. And when you're ready, drive on again.
Ben now has 2 faults for pulling away without checking his blind spots for danger not shown in his mirrors. An examiner will expect us to do this, but this fault is typical of a more experienced driver that has stopped doing this every time they pull away.
At the end of the road, turn right. Turn right.
The reason that we should check our mirrors before we change our speed is that we need to check if we are being followed closely by another vehicle. If we spot this, we could brake more gently and earlier than usual to warn them and reduce the chance of being hit from behind.
After 300 yards, cross the roundabout and take the second exit. Cross the roundabout and take the second exit.
Good lane discipline from Ben here as he crosses the roundabout neatly in the outer lane.
After 300 yards, go right on the roundabout and take the third exit. Go right on the roundabout and take the third exit.
Even though Ben crosses his hands when steering sometimes, it will not be marked as a fault as long as it doesn't affect his car control.
After 200 yards, turn left. Turn left.
In this residential area, the speed limit is still 30 miles per hour, but Ben is driving far slower in case of hidden danger. The basic rule to follow is the less we can see, the slower we should drive. Matt was hoping to do the reverse parallel park manoeuvre here, but didn't spot any suitable cars in time, so ended up doing a different manoeuvre later in the test route.
At the end of the road, turn right. Turn right. After 300 yards, go left on the roundabout and take the first exit.
In areas like this, the examiner would like to see that you have recognised the potential for hidden danger, so remember that there is no need to rush and drive carefully.
Go left on the roundabout and take the first exit.
Ben is driving just under the speed limit here, but look behind.
After 300 yards,
Other road users often speed, and if we use our mirrors effectively and spot them approaching us, we can make sure we don't put ourselves in danger.
Cross the roundabout and take the second exit.
Excellent lane discipline again here, giving the other car room to turn right. Notice this time Ben does check his mirrors before stopping at the traffic lights.
After 300 yards, go right on the roundabout and take the second exit.
While we are waiting, it's good to check our mirrors for danger behind, such as a motorbike filtering between the lanes.
After 100 yards, go right on the roundabout and take the second exit.
We must demonstrate how to use a car control whilst driving, just as we would need to after passing. If we forget how to do this, we are allowed to stop the car somewhere safe to refresh our memory, and then continue driving before demonstrating the controls use. Good use of speed on this major road here, which helps the flow of traffic. After driving quickly, it can be difficult to stick to a 30 mph limit on a wide road like this, but Ben does a good job of controlling his speed. We won't fail a test for doing 31 in a 30, but reach 35 and we might.
After 300 yards, turn left. Turn left.
Safe place, please. Okay, that's the end of the independent driving section. I'll just take this off, probably a bit spark up, of course. And when you're ready, drive on.
another road that it's very easy to speed on, and there is often speed cameras here. Ben stays just under the limit nicely. It is possible to fail a test for driving too slowly. For example, staying at 30 miles per hour on a road like this. If the road is clear, we should try to show our confidence and make good progress. As the name suggests, an extended driving test is much longer than a normal driving test. This allows the examiner to use a greater variety of roads to really test the candidate. We are about to drive into a rural area with very narrow roads, which will test Ben's judgment and car control. As Ben slows the car, notice how he changes through every gear in turn, rather than block changing directly into second for the junction. You can use whichever technique you prefer, as long as it doesn't affect your control over the car. The road is fairly narrow here, but as Ben can see the road ahead is clear, he is still making good progress. Now the road is very narrow. Ben has reduced his speed further in case he meets oncoming traffic.
At the end of this road, if we can turn left.
speed limit is still 60 miles per hour on these roads, but we shouldn't think of it as a target, and instead drive at a speed that would always let us stop in the amount of road we can see to be clear. We are now just over halfway through the test route. Despite the extra length of the test, the pass mark is the same as the normal driving test, so we will need to drive at a higher standard if we are to be successful.
Roundabout, straight ahead, second exit. Going to do the emergency stop routine soon, so I'm going to get you to drive on and at some point give you the signal to stop. So I'd like you to stop the car as quickly as you can under full control. I'm going to check it's safe before I do the routine, but please wait till you get the stop command. Alright? Yeah. Okay. When you're ready, drive on please.
Ben fails to check his blind spots for the third time. So as before, we will convert the 3 minor faults into 1 serious fault and stop counting this type of fault anymore. While we wait for the examiner to give us the signal to stop, we should keep up to our normal speed for this road and be ready to react promptly.
Stop. We won't be doing that again, and when you're ready, drive on again.
Unfortunately, Ben doesn't check his blind spots once more and then pulls away just as the red car starts to drive past him. This would be marked as a serious fault.
Straight ahead of the next junction towards local traffic on the sign.
Double mini roundabouts can be tricky to negotiate sometimes. Our advice is to treat each part separately. Ben does well here. Watch out for the confusing speed limits ahead. Even if the 30 signs are temporary, we must obey them. The next junction we meet has been recently changed and there is a large sign to direct traffic. Since there is only one way we can go, an examiner would expect us to understand where we must drive and may not give any instructions.
At the next roundabout, we need to turn right, third exit, so we come back this way again.
Ben does a good job of getting up to speed here, which makes it much easier to merge into the traffic on the dual carriageway. waiting for a safe opportunity to overtake, he is sitting too close to the lorry in front. The minimum safe following distance we need is a 2-second gap, and this would double on a wet road. There is another temporary speed limit ahead, and we must spot it early enough to obey it, just as we would any other speed limit. Examiner or sat-nav tells you where you are going at the next junction, try to choose the correct lane on the slip road as you leave the dual carriageway. This is another situation where we would probably block change from 6th gear straight to 2nd. This allows us to keep our hands on the wheel for longer. On this large roundabout, there are 2 lanes we can use to turn right with, the centre and the right. We find it easier to use the middle lane, as this saves us the need to change lanes later on before leaving the roundabout. Ben can see that he can cross the yellow box junction without stopping, so continues driving. However, this can be tricky to judge when traffic is heavy during the rush hour.
So straight ahead of this roundabout, 2nd exit.
Blue signs tell us to merge in turn, so we stay aware of any traffic near us in the other lane.
The next roundabout, we need to turn right, 3rd exit.
There are many no entry signs here, but Ben sees that he can follow our lane around the corner into a one-way street. The next 20 mph limit sign is easy to miss, as drivers are often distracted by the pedestrian crossing or turn left signs.
We could keep to the left hand side of this Ford, please. Follow the road ahead. That way. I imagine they're on a tour of the brewery.
Probably.
So there's some samples.
We'll take a stand on side.
Thankfully, Ben has seen the 20 sign and so doesn't speed on this wider street.
The roundabout, if we could turn right, third exit.
This dual carriageway has a 30 limit, and as other traffic speed past us, it can be easy to follow them and accidentally break the speed limit.
The next roundabout, we need to go straight ahead to the second exit.
This roundabout has 2 lanes on approach, and we can use either to go ahead. However, we usually prefer to keep to the left.
Then if we could take the next road on the left, just before the white sign.
Left.
Yep. Just here. At the mini roundabout, straight ahead please, first exit. And then turn left into the car park. Okay, I should like you to do the forward bay parking exercise. So if you could turn to park in any bay on your right or left, finishing with your wheels inside the lines. Thanks so much. Now if we could reverse out and turn to face the exit so we can leave.
Great observations by Ben here, ensuring it is safe to reverse out of the parking bay.
Yep, and that way when you're ready. We need the next right turn. The mini roundabout, straight ahead at the roundabout. Yes, that's straight ahead, second exit. And then, if you could turn right back into the car park, please. Straight up the middle, please. At the end of this row of cars, if you could turn right and then park forwards on your left in one of the test bays that we started from. That's great. Thanks very much. I think we'll open the windows. You may switch your engine off. That's the end of the test.
Well done.
How do you feel it went?
I reckon I failed.
What on out of interest?
Huh?
What on out of interest?
Speeding.
Where though?
It was in a 20 zone, I believe. No, it was going out towards Thetford Way.
I didn't see anything
No?
too bad there. I did see the 50 limit on the A14 though. I don't think you saw that one. That's why that other car was going
It's
so
been there
slow.
about 2 years now.
Well, 6 months at least, yeah. So that's a real sign. We've got to stick to that. So that is a definite fail. Also, the following distance was a little bit close to that lorry we followed after joining the A14. Do you remember
Yeah.
what's the minimum following distance?
2 seconds, isn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't 2 seconds. I'd say it was nearer 1. And I can let you off for a little bit, but we were there for some time, and I think that's possibly longer than I'd want to see. And the other thing that I noticed was when we did the emergency stop, and it's a slightly busy road, sorry, we had to pull away, but that car was trying to go around us at the time. They'd already indicated right, and they were starting to move, and you just went. I think I'd have waited.
Yeah.
I think we'd have surprised them. But you know what? The rest was pretty good. I mean, oh, there's one more thing, sorry, is that you don't use your side mirrors enough.
Oh, okay.
Especially when you're indicating. I see the centre mirror, but not always the side ones. And you've only got to get 3 the same, and you've got the option of, the examiner has the option of turning that serious. And I stopped counting after a while, because that was just happening a lot. So possibly that as well. I think these are all things that we could fix in 1 2-hour lesson. And if you were in this position for real, I'm pretty sure you'd actually pass. Because the rest, you had good car control, pretty good judgment, you know. I never felt in danger. I didn't have to cover the foot brake at all. But yeah, isn't it amazing how it's
After 2
easy?
years,
Yeah. And
you slip into some not very good ways, can't you?
Possibly, yeah. And you know, and the test is reasonably challenging, you know, and it's longer. You know, you've got more time on one of these. You got a whole hour to do.
The time.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a fair old drive.
Thank you to Ben once more for bravely completing a full extended driving test for this video. Even though he didn't pass today, we hope we have helped him identify a few ways in which he could improve his driving. If you have been to court for a serious driving offence and are now required to pass an extended driving test to get your driving licence back, we would recommend you book a lesson or two with a local driving instructor to polish up your driving skills. As you have just seen, the test is long and a good standard of driving will be needed. Good luck. If you found this video interesting, then please visit our channel, as there are over 100 more tutorial videos to help you improve your driving. If you would like to help us make new videos, then please consider becoming a member or patron of our channel. Thanks for watching.